Hello, and welcome to Allie in Sweatpants. My name is Allie, and I am wearing sweatpants. Today I'm coming back with part 2 of my free patterns that I have been eyeing recently video. The last one went over really well. I am glad that you all enjoyed it so much. It was a lot of fun to put that bundle together and do the research to find all the patterns. I know that there are tons of amazing free patterns that I'm not mentioning in these videos, but that's what I really wanted, was to kind of pick free patterns that looked really good that I hadn't heard a bunch of other people talk about before. So, and quite a few of you commented that you hadn't really seen the patterns before, so it made me very happy. If you are new here, a very warm welcome to you. I hope that you enjoy and choose to stick around, and if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. So if you want to know how long it's been since part 1, this pattern was in part 1. I hadn't started it when I recorded part 1, and it is now finished. It's the Jan sweater that is in part 1, surprisingly enough. And I loved making it. I would highly recommend the pattern. Most of these patterns I've never knit, so I can't say one way or another if they're, you know, good. But this one I really loved, so highly would recommend. I have my bundle up, so we're gonna get into it now. There's more patterns this time than in part 1, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but I think it's gonna be good. This is kind of the, like, most of these are sort of accessories type, like smaller knits. The first one was really like sweaters and cardigans. This one is, for the most part, smaller knits. So we'll get into it. And we're starting with the hands, so mittens. The first, I'm gonna put pictures here. The first pattern are the arched Gusset mittens from Pearl Soho. They call for worsted weight yarn, but a 3.75 millimeter needle. That's kind of interesting to me. And they come in 7 sizes. So they range from kid to adult extra large, which is kind of awesome. The thing I love about these is, as you may assume from the name of the pattern, they have this really pretty arched thumb gusset detail across the, I'm not sure if it goes, I'm assuming it goes across the, yeah, the palm of your hand. And I just think it looks really nice and kind of elegant. Like, it makes them look a little bit elegant. So I think those are really beautiful. The next are the Cloudburst fingerless mitts. These have been on my radar for a while, and my friend Martina from the We Grow Wild knitting channel did a whole video on making this pattern. It calls for fingering weight yarn, 3 millimeter needles, and it comes in one size, women's medium, whatever that is. And it features this really pretty lace going down the, going down the top of the hand. I literally almost said that they kind of look like, I don't know, cloud bursts or something. But yeah, I think they're really beautiful. Sometimes with socks and mittens, I'm a little bit conflicted when it comes to lace, because like I only would wear socks and mittens for warmth. So I don't know. I would love to know your opinions on lace in socks and mittens, because they look so beautiful, but then are they practical? Like, are they still warm? I don't know. But the cloudburst mitts are stunning. So this is actually, this next one is a new addition to the bundle that I found between the first episode and now. And they are so pretty. They are called the Spring Mittens. They are a colorwork pair of mittens and they are so pretty. They call for fingering weight yarn, 2.5 millimeter needles, and they come in small / medium, and then says can be adjusted. So I assume you probably add in like an extra chart repeat or something. But they have the prettiest flowers down the back of the hand, and on the palm they have like this kind of geometric design. Oh, if you look at the second photo on Ravelry, they have these like fall color ones. Okay, all the sample photos on Ravelry are stunning. So I would really like to make these. I'm in my colorwork era, I think. Okay, moving on from hands, we will go to our head. So we have a couple hat patterns. The first one is the double hat, which to me looks very similar to the Musselburgh hat. It's like a double layer beanie. Calls for light fingering weight yarn, 2.75 millimeter needles, and it comes in 7 sizes. So it ranges from preemie to adult large, which is like awesome. But yeah, this just has that really classic Oslo hat style where it's, I hate to say like store-bought machine made, but it has that very clean, sort of classic minimalistic look to it. And it's, trying to see in the sample photos if it's actually constructed like the Musselburgh or if it's in double knit. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, it looks really beautiful and it comes in so many sizes, which makes it like even more amazing for a free pattern. Okay, the next one is the classic rib hat. I actually have made this one. I made it last year as a Christmas present and I really enjoyed it. I'm so sorry, my throat just got really dry. I really enjoyed making it. I didn't have any issues with it. It's just a 1x1 rib beanie, which I think makes it very versatile because it can stretch so much. But it calls for DK weight yarn, 3.25 millimeter needles, and it comes in 6 sizes ranging from baby to adult large. And I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just a 1x1 ribbed beanie, but I think it looks so clean and so classic, and the decreases across the top are really cool. They're similar to the watch cap hat, also by Pro Soho, where they kind of almost like swirl the decreases at the top, and I think it looks really cool. So last in the head category is the BB Balaclava. I have knit this one. I knit this 2 or 3 years ago for my sister and her ex-partner as Christmas gifts, and I loved making these. I thought these were so fun to make. I thought the construction was really fun to do. I really liked making these. So it calls for worsted weight yarn, 4.5 and 4 millimeter needles, and it comes in 2 sizes, small and medium. But it's an all over moss stitch balaclava with 1x1 rib neck, and then the face bit is double knit, so it's like a little bit snug and it's that really squishy around the face. I loved making this pattern and it fit both of the recipients very well. So next, let's move to our feet. So I have 4 sock patterns, and I'm going to start with the I'm So Basic socks. These call for light fingering weight yarn, 2.25 millimeter needles, and it comes in 4 sizes. Now, socks are very customizable, especially these. These are a vanilla sock pattern. I thought I should throw one in just because I don't know if you've never knit socks before and you want to just knit a plain vanilla classic sock. Here you go. And I think I've heard really good things about this, but it looks like it uses a slip stitch heel flap and gusset, which I would say is my preferred heel. And socks are so customizable. If you need a few extra stitches, a few less stitches, you make the foot as long as you need it to, you make the leg as long as you need it to. So I find socks patterns as kind of like guidelines, more so than, I mean, aren't all patterns anyway. But yeah, I thought these looked like a really good classic vanilla sock. So next we have the color palette socks. It calls for light fingering weight yarn, 2.5 millimeter needles, and it looks like it comes in 1 size. So I don't know what that stitch count is, but I've had these on my radar for quite a long time because the texture, so they're a striped sock and the texture in between looks almost like ribbing. But I don't think it is 1x1 rib. It just kind of looks like 1x1 rib. It kind of looks like a white picket fence in front of your house. But I think that these look like a slightly elevated vanilla sock pattern. And that texture I think looks super, super effective while not being seemingly overly challenging. And I think this would be a great scrap project, advent project, because I know those advents are coming up. So next we have the winter rose garden socks. Calls for fingering weight yarn, 2.5 millimeter needles, and it comes in 3 sizes, and it actually gives the stitch count here next to the sizes. So you can do 56 stitches, 64 stitches, or 72 stitches. My trick with socks is if the pattern repeat calls for a stitch count that is not quite what I want, like I would never knit a 64 stitch count sock on 2.5 millimeter needles for my boyfriend, but I could do 64 stitches on a 2.25 millimeter needle. So if it's 4 stitches more or less than I would typically do, I will just go up or down my sock needle. So I don't know if that's helpful, but these are really beautiful. They have cables. I don't know what the texture in the middle almost looks like honeycomb brioche. I don't know if it is, but it's just, I think that these are so, so pretty. There's cables on the ribbing. There's a cable that goes all the way down. I would really, really like to knit these. I think that they're very pretty. So last in the socks I had to include because it has my name in it, but they are the Diagon Alley socks. And they call for fingering weight yarn, 2.25 millimeter needles, and they come in 3 sizes. And like I said earlier, when socks come in sizes, that just means circumference. You can make the length as long as you want. But these are super cool. They look like they feature a broken 2x2 rib down most of the sock, and then across the top of the foot is a diagonal line. Diagonally. But yeah, these have been on my radar for a little while, and I think that they look just so interesting. I'd really like to knit those. Okay, now I have a couple like summer knits that I thought looked really cool. The first is the Drawstring Camisole. It calls for fingering weight yarn, 3.5 millimeter needles, and it comes in 8 different sizes, which is pretty great. So I don't know if I would ever wear something like this personally. I don't have like those nice angular shoulders. My shoulders are very sloped, which is fine. But I don't tend to show off my shoulders because I don't think it flatters me all that much. That's not to say if you have sloped shoulders that you wouldn't look good in this style. I think it comes down to just what we like on ourselves. So it gathers at the neck, and then it looks like it ties around the back of the neck, but it actually connects in the back and it ties. Oh, I think it's so pretty. I would love to make this for someone. And then it almost follows like a raglan shaping across the front of the body. So the whole garment like gathers up around the neck. I think it's so pretty. I just wouldn't wear it. I wouldn't wear it, but I love it. I think it's so pretty and I would love to make it for someone. The next pattern is called the Tip Top Tank. It calls for sport weight yarn, 3.5 and 3.25 millimeter needles, and it comes in 8 different sizes. So this is just a very classic looking tank top where it's a V-neck in the front and a V-neck in the back, which to me means you don't have to worry about which way you put it on. And there's a modification for this pattern where you can make these shoulders cute little tie straps. And I think that that is super cute and also customizable. Like some days maybe you want it up real tight and tall, and then other days maybe you want it relaxed and you know, like a little bit less cinched. I don't know. I think that this looks really beautiful, really classic, really clean. And it has like a cute little split hem option down at the bottom. So the last summer knit is marketed as a men's pattern. It's the Slater T. It calls for sport weight yarn, 2.5 and 3 millimeter needles, and it comes in 8 different sizes. It looks like a very classic, nice, clean t-shirt design. I think it has a saddle shoulder. If that's what the construction is, please let me know if I am right or wrong, but it's where you kind of have the like panel here and then it goes wider for the sleeves. And it looks like maybe a folded, all the edging is folded over. Maybe not. It's hard to tell, but it looks really, really nice and could easily be made into a sweater if you like the style and the weight of the yarn. You just sort of make the sleeves. But yeah. Okay, now we are moving into shawls. So the first one I have to talk about is the Sunday morning shawl. This one I have also had my eye on for such a long time. I think that the patterning and the texture is so pretty. It calls for DK weight yarn and a 4.5 millimeter needle. And I just think it's so, it looks mostly stockinette, and then it actually has that same texture as the, what were they called? Those stripy socks that I showed where it looks like 1x1 ribbing, but I don't think it is. And then at the very bottom of the shawl, where it meets the ribbing, there is a line of baubles. And I just think it looks so nice and so cozy. I've thought about this for a while, where I knit a shawl twice and then sew it together to make a blanket. And I think that this design as a blanket would be so pretty. Next, we have the Mambo Jumbo Bandana, and I love the texture of this one. It calls for fingering weight yarn, 3.75 millimeter needles. And this is just, I love baubles. I don't mind knitting baubles. I love the way baubles look. And this has baubles. And this is a much smaller, I mean, it's marketed as a bandana, but you could easily probably keep going and make it a whole shawl if you wanted to. But this looks like it mixes stockinette, garter, 1x1 rib, baubles. I mean, it's a texture dream. So there's that one. And then the last one I have here is called an Italian summer scarf. It calls for worsted weight yarn, 4 millimeter needles, and this is more of a, it's not a triangle shawl. This is like a thin to like wide and back to thin, whatever that's called. And it has all over eyelets, and it looks, yes, so it's garter eyelet, and it looks really nice. I really like it. This designer has a few different free shawl scarf type patterns, and that's just the one that I picked out. So now we're going to be moving into baby/kid knits. So the first one that I found are called the Toddler Overalls. Calls for sport weight yarn, 3.5 millimeter needles, and then the sizing is from 18 to 30 months. I don't have a baby, so my brain thinks in years. So when I hear 18 and 30 months, what are we talking, you know? But these are really cool. They look very like linen-y, like the yarn that's used is linen-y. I don't know if it is. But they're just some cute little overalls. And I think adults look cute in overalls. I think babies look cute in overalls. The only thing I think that I would change is this looks like a very, very loose gauge. And I think I would probably knit it at a tighter gauge just so it looked like it had a little bit more kind of like structure and integrity. So next we have the Smarty Pants. This calls for fingering weight yarn, 3 and 2.5 millimeter needles, and it comes in 5 sizes, ranging from 0 to 3 months all the way to 12 to 18 months. And these are just a cute little pair of pants. I mean, oh, and they show them as little shorts too. That's so cute. But it looks like they have a like folded over waistband that you put an I-cord through, which I think looks so cute. Is it that practical for helping keep the pants up? I don't know, because I-cords stretch so much. Does it look super cute? Yes, and that's the important thing. So yeah, they're just cute little stockinette pants or shorts for a little babby. And they look very classic. I feel like that is kind of the theme of this bundle, is classic looking knits. So the next one we have is called the Lily Crispin. It calls for light fingering weight yarn, 2.5 and 3 millimeter needles, and it comes in 4 sizes, ranging from 3 months to 2 years. And this is just a cutie little cardigan. The texturing almost looks like the bubble stitch, but it's not. It's like little diamonds all offset from each other. And I think it's super, 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 super cute. I can't wait till I know more people who have children so that I can knit it for someone. But it's just a cute little raglan little kitty cardigan. I think any baby would be lucky to have that. So next we have the Bear Bonnet. Calls for fingering weight yarn, 3 and 2.5 millimeter needles, and it comes in 4 sizes, I think. The first size is 3 months, and then the last size is 12 to 18 months. So I'm assuming the 12 to 18 months is one size, not 6 sizes altogether. Maybe the baby's head doesn't really grow that much. But this is just a cutie little bonnet. Looks like it's in garter stitch. It has some 1x1 ribbing and then some freaking little bear ears attached to the top. And boy, is it cute. Those ears are so effective. So yeah, and I am all here for the trend of little baby knits looking like bears. I mean, there's like one pieces that look like bears, there's the bonnets that look like bears, there's the balaclavas that have the bear ears, and I am all here for it. I think it's very, very cute. So the last baby knit we have are the baby house shoe, which I'm assuming means house shoe. It calls for air and weight yarn, 4mm needles, and I'm assuming it comes in one size. Though, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't have sizing, but it has a range of yardage that you need in your yarn. But these are just little baby boots, not socks, little baby boots. And they're very, very cute. And down the front, the way that the boot increases looks almost like little trees. And I think that's little trees to go with their little bear outfit. I think it looks very cute. And they look very sturdy, which makes me think it will stay on the baby's feet, because I've heard a lot of people talk about babies kicking their socks off and whatever. So yes, now we will be moving on to blankets. So the first blanket that I have to talk about is the Learn to Love Steeks blanket, which I actually started a couple years ago and I have on my needles, and I just haven't prioritized it. But it calls for worsted weight yarn, 5mm and 3.5mm needles, and it comes in 3 sizes: baby, crib, and throw. However, it's knit in the round. So what I did was I cast on as many stitches as my bed is wide, and I joined in the round. I mean, it's just a stockinette blanket that you knit in the round and then steek up the middle. So the sample photo is striped, which I think looks super cool. I just didn't want to do that. And then the finishing, it looks like where you steek, you pick up and then you knit like either a double knit edge or like you fold it over to kind of hide the steek stitches. But yeah, I mean, it truly couldn't be easier. It's just knit in the round stockinette for as long as you want it to be. And then it's steeked, which, yes, I am a little bit nervous about, but because it has the technique where you pick up the stitches and then you steek it, so it's like the stitches are so secured because you've picked them up, I don't feel as nervous as I think I could feel. So the next blanket that I have to talk about is called the Double Knit Blanket. It calls for DK weight yarn, 4 and 3.5mm needles, and it comes in 2 sizes, baby and throw. But again, I think with blankets, you could just cast on as big as you want it to be and go from there. This is cool because the whole... It's okay. Just because they're barking doesn't mean you have to cry. It's okay. Good boy. As the name suggests, this whole blanket is knit and double knit, but there are, as the name suggests, it's in all over double knit, which would make the squishiest, warmest, coziest blanket ever. I think it would be akin to like a weighted blanket. And it looks like in parts of it, maybe, I can't tell what the technique is, but in the sample photo, one side is purple and one side is blue. And on the purple side, you get little dots of the blue, and on the blue side, you get little dots of the purple, which I just think is really cool. You could probably omit that if you wanted to, but I don't know. I think it looks really nice. So the last blanket that I have to talk about is the Syncopation Blanket. It calls for sport weight yarn, 3.75 millimeter needles, and again, it comes in crib and throw. This blanket is very cool to me. It looks like all over garter with these thick veins. I feel like saying that could turn some people off, but thick columns of, I don't really know. I don't know if it's just stockinette or if it's some double knitting, but it looks really cool and kind of modern and like very simple with just a really effective detail added to it. I think it's really beautiful. I'd love to knit it one day. So last but not least, we have kind of, I was gonna say an accessory, but a lot of these are accessories. We have a bag. So it's called the Knit Drawstring Bag and Backpack. It calls for fingering weight yarn, 2.75 millimeter needles, and it comes in one size. So I don't know what the difference between, oh, okay, that's the difference between a bag and a backpack. So I think for the bag, you just do little like handles, and then for the backpack, you do the long straps that go all the way around. But this is a stockinette drawstring bag, and it is beautiful. It is clean. And I would definitely, oh, how nice would it be to knit these and put people's Christmas presents in them? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to pressure myself to do that, but it would be really cute. So anyway, that's all I have to share with you. I loved compiling these free patterns. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that maybe you saw a pattern that you haven't really seen before, and that maybe it inspired you to try something new or old, whatever makes you happy. Because I know that this time of year can be stressful in general. It can definitely be stressful as a maker, feeling this need to Christmas knit, gift knit. So don't add any pressure on yourself that you don't need to. Allow yourself to enjoy the season. You know, we all deserve that. We all deserve to enjoy the season. And my mindset now is, if I am Christmas knitting for someone and I stall and they don't get it till January or February, oh well, like they still get it. So that's where I'm at anyway. But yes, I hope that you're all doing well, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me. I know that there are tons of people and videos that you could have chosen to watch, and I'm very honored that you chose mine. So yeah, sending my love to you, and I will be back when I have more to talk about.